Okay, all right. Go ahead and call the meeting to order. Everybody rise to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We'll go ahead and start the public hearing on the ordinance amendment. Do we have any public comment? Going once, going twice. Okay. We will now close the public hearing for the ordinance amendment and move on to consent of minutes and bills. Has everybody had a chance to read everything?
Make a motion to approve the minutes for October 14, 2025, the public hearing regular meeting. Can I combine the payables on there as well?
Sure.
October 2025. It's my motion.
Second. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Motion passes. Okay. Catch up here. So, council to review and adopt ordinance 2503. This is the new ordinance for the opening the budget to pay for the cameras and stuff. We'll like the motion to read, suspend rules and read by title only.
I'd like them to suspend the rules and read by title only
Okay, and adopt.
and adopt.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call vote. Jeff?
Aye.
Amanda?
Aye.
Mark?
Yes.
Eric?
Yes.
Okay, you want to read by title?
Okay, yes. This is ordinance number 2025-03. An ordinance of the city of Juliaetta, Idaho, amending ordinance 2025-01, the appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2025 and ending September 30, 2026. Appropriating additional monies that have been received by the city of Juliaetta, Idaho, and budget reallocations in the sum of $15,300 and providing an effective date.
Okay. Okay, so the next one is to review and adopt the Latah County All Hazard Mitigation Plan. Right? Yes. Oh, did I skip one? Sorry. Oh, 6. Sorry, wrong one. Consideration and adopt resolution 2502 reserving foregone amount for fiscal year 2026. So what happens is every year the county raises property taxes 3%, right? And we don't always take it. They raise it anyway. So we have to pass a resolution saying that we do want that money. We just didn't want it now. So then it will go into a foregone or an account that we can get at a later date. So that's all this is just we want to take the, how much was it?
877.
877 and put it in with, I think we have some other money in there, I believe, because I think we missed another year where we didn't take the increase.
Oh, okay.
I think,
Exactly.
yep, yep.
Make a motion for council to consider review and adopt resolution 2025-02, reserving foregone amount for fiscal year 2026.
Have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay. Now the Latah County Hazard Mitigation Plan. So Clifford and Joe were part of that whole thing with the fires as far as getting us involved and making sure that we were part of the Latah County mitigation planning and process. So if there's a hazard or something like that. So this just means that we fall under the Latah County plan, correct, Joe? Okay.
All right, I'll make a motion for council to consider review and adopt resolution 2025-03, Latah County All Hazard Mitigation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Motion passes.
That's right, I'm gonna get this last thing. Getting paid by the motion, eh? Keep it coming.
Okay, so Dean Brown with the information about water meters rescheduled for January, so we'll just skip over that one. And Keller was on a plane, but he sent somebody to talk to us. So if you want to go ahead and step up and give us your spiel.
Can you give you the spiel? Well, the spiel is I'm really more so here for any questions that you guys may have. Stillman is otherwise engaged over in Seattle and some pursuits that we have over there. But basically, what he has on your guys' agenda is an agreement for professional services to add Keller as an on-call engineer. So what this allows is this is a formal agreement between Keller and the city to basically out the term retainer is kind of what's I guess most appropriate. If you guys have small tasks that come up, you come to Keller and say, hey, we already have an agreement in place. Can we work out another smaller agreement to do X amount of tasks? So the one that you'll see in front of you has 2 task orders. The first 2 that we've been coordinating with Justin. The first task order is for water system corrosion control. You guys have had some pings for lead in your water system, and I believe Stillman and Justin have done some of the legwork already to try and pinpoint where that might be in your system to see if it's an isolated type of thing that we can look at. It is not. It's going to take a little bit more of a holistic approach of how do we treat it at the water plant. So basically what this task order is saying, this is going to authorize Keller to work with Justin and Joe to put together a little bit more of a formal approach and summarize it in a tech memo that says we've analyzed your system and this is our recommendation for how you're going to treat at your water plant to solve this issue. So that's kind of the first one, and we can get more into detail if you guys want, or less into detail. The second one, Justin's talked to us about down at the ball fields. You guys have an erosion problem with the river. It's creeping ever so further into the bank. And so this is again another tech memo to kind of analyze and present some alternatives to the council for how we might want to remedy that and shore up the riverbank so that you don't continue to see erosion into the ball fields.
Well, and Stillman talked to us about it on the phone last meeting, that there's some grant money and stuff that we can
Yes.
get
Yes.
some other partners that want to
Yep.
help us with that, correct?
Yep, that would be identified in that tech memo for the riverbank in particular. I highlighted a couple things in here that says identify permitting needs and possible funding along with the alternatives. So it would kind of, both of these are first steps. The water system more so, that might be a simpler fix where we can recommend, hey, Justin, you need to do X, Y, Z at the water system plant. That should fix up your issues. The task order for the ball field, that's a little bit more of a, here's some alternatives for you guys to kind of decide upon, and then you would move forward to a construction project on that. So you'd have to then, do another amendment to add in design and construction phase services. So that's kind of what that is. And then I think there's might even be a third task order that's in the works.
Possibly, yeah, the chlorine,
Yeah,
switching to chlorine gas.
Switched from chlorine gas to sodium hypochlorite.
Yes. So the DEQ is, I mean, they want an engineered response, not just
Yeah.
go down and try stuff.
Yeah, that one, chlorine gas is becoming harder to come by, and it's kind of it's dangerous to work with. You can be really, really good about it, but it only takes one mistake for Justin to open the door and uh-oh, if something happens. So that's a switch to a safer treatment chemical. Keller's done numerous projects with sodium hypochlorite injections, so that's another thing coming down the works. But that's an example of, you got another kind of small problem. We need to make this switch. DEQ wants an engineer just to have some say so on it rather than just the city saying, hey, we want to do this. So that's a really good example of, here's a small task. We already have you guys on call. Let's hammer out a quick task order and get it done. So with that being said, that's kind of my spiel of what's on your guys' agenda and the agreement that's been put in front of the mayor. Are there any other questions from the council?
Jeff looks at Jeff's thinking.
So if I read these right, for the one, it's, well, I'll go with my total. I think calculators. So we're looking at $32,700 if I read this right, for these two.
Right.
And those are just strictly for basically advice. And possibly there's
Well,
no materials or anything to actually mitigate the problem.
if you're talking about deliverables, for the very first one for the corrosion, that would come with advice, basically a tech memo that says here's how you're going to fix your problem. Um, the second one for the riverbank, that's going to come with kind of some options. So typically you don't just jump right into a design and say, hey, we're going to do this because we think. Typically you start with a tech memo. And that's where Justin has sought out our help to help with what are kind of some of our alternatives. We'll put a cost to some of the alternatives rather than just jumping in and saying, hey, we want to slap some eco blocks in here, and that's gonna, solve the issue of the erosion. So advice is kind of an interesting way to put it, but yes and no. What you're paying for is kind of your preliminary options for how you're going to fix it, that allows the council to then take a little bit more of a I don't know, a little bit more of an in-depth approach rather than just shooting from your hip, a more educated guess, I guess, in your approach with how you're proceeding based on kind of our findings from those preliminary options and getting a better understanding of what's happening, if that makes sense.
So with the grants and stuff, is that something that would be covered by, that 10,000 could be potentially covered by grants, or is that directly out of the city's pocket regardless?
This first for the I'll just give you my answer. I believe that would be out of your guys' pocket to start. Unless you have another funding, method that is in place that I don't know about. But I believe that's coming out of your guys' pocket to start with. Where you get into the grants, specifically with that second task order, is it'll offer some funding mechanisms for, we've decided that we want to do X with the riverbank, and here's how we're going to go out and do it, and here's some funding pathways so that the city isn't shouldering the burden. I guess at this time I haven't been made privy to any funding grants that you guys might have to leverage this first little amount, if that makes sense. Not to be said that it couldn't be done if you guys could find a grant that that would work, or if you wanted our help, I guess. But
And so basically the DEQ and the lead, we have to have an engineer, right?
yes,
So regardless, and the baseball, it's been brought to our attention.
Yeah, the baseball
It's
association brought that to our
proactively
attention.
being looked
So,
at versus
Mhm.
waiting until something makes the
Yeah.
baseball park.
yeah. So that's kind of where those first two are coming from. And then the same with switching from chlorine gas. DEQ likes to see an engineer say this, we've looked at this and this is our recommendation, more so than,
I just found out today that we will be able to get gas through December and beyond
okay.
for a while. So
Gotcha.
that one is not as much of an emergency as it was with the last meeting.
Gotcha.
But Joe and I decided today that it would be best to switch. For the fire department's sake, as well as anybody that's visiting the plant. Chlorine gas leak could be really bad.
Is it gonna be a cost saving with the sodium hypochlorite?
No. And it'll be about the same.
Will we be going through it as much, or will there be not as often?
A bottle of chlorine has 120 gallons or something, and it lasts about 6 months of gas. I don't know what the price, I think it's $450 or something for a tank. The sodium hypochlorite, we would use chlorine out of a jug with a micro pump, so it would be straight out of a gallon. So we made 4 million gallons in July. If that's 1 part per million, that's 1 gallon of bleach per million gallons of water, and so that's less expensive. But the water temperature, I mean, we might have to use more, we could use less. I mean, it's gonna be about the same. It's gonna be more labor, a little bit more labor for us because we're constantly changing bottle, putting bleach in there. With the gas, you just turn it on and walk away for 6 months, and when it runs out, come back. So I like it for that sake, but
I was just thinking too, is there any savings like on insurance?
there
Doing
might
with
be.
the
There might
hypochlorite
actually
and-
be. And it may reduce our rating from a water plant treatment 3 down to a water plant treatment 2 by going from gas chlorine to sodium hypochlorite.
And right now we're paying for
A 3
a 3 with that
monthly.
monthly. So, which is,
So that could possibly save us $250 a month.
yeah,
Right off. I mean, just
if we
right
can
off
get
the
down
top.
to a 2, because we pay,
Mike Dimick.
yes. Yeah, for the use of his license.
I can't promise that DEQ will do that because they're very,
The
but I mean, I think technically it could happen.
the process to reduce your classification for your operators, DEQ actually has a checklist that they go from that a community you can download it and then you can go through and it's basically a rating scale where you rate, who do you serve, how much are you serving, how much water you produce, how are you producing or treating it, and you go through and it's out of 100. You check the boxes for how your system operates, and then it's kind of determined through that matrix. And then you would petition through DEQ, hey, we've made these changes. This is our worksheet. And now we think that we can reduce. And these are all questions that would be discussed, like in these tech memos that I'm talking about. That's where all that gets kind of vetted out and helps the council to make a decision. Just a little bit more informed decision. So should that task order become a thing down the line and something that we want to look at, we would definitely be able to address a lot of these questions at that time.
Is ready? All righty then. I make a motion to accept Keller Associates as an on-call engineer. Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Motion passes.
Thanks, Jay.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, we'll pass that down. Okay, so I asked Cheyenne to put this next one on. Those of you who have inland cellular, it's kind of not the greatest right now. And, it's kind of difficult sometimes for me to be in contact with them. And Joe has had issues with his inland cellular service with the city phone. So I had got some prices. I meant to bring the quotes with me. We're paying, I think, 182 inland, and T-Mobile would be 200. AT&T was 260, and Verizon was way up there around 300 for the same service. The thing with T-Mobile also is that you have Starlink, so if you can see the sky, you can send a text message. So it's only you can't do a group text message, but if there was something weird, then Joe could text Justin or wherever he was at, as long as he could see the sky. So that's why I wanted to bring it to the council's attention, see what their thoughts were. They would get all new phones, and they would have the protection on them and stuff.
Is that for 4 phones? Is that what we're paying?
Yes, 4 phones, because one would be, Clifford doesn't want one.
What's that?
I thought
Clifford, no, all we have is a hotspot down there. We don't have a phone.
I thought Clifford had a phone.
No.
You don't get one?
No, I just use my personal phone. I'd kind of thought about that as far as, not sure if that would be a thing that I would need or not, but, because I already carry one for work, so I don't know that I really need to be that guy that carries 3 phones.
Well,
I
just,
see myself.
But that's something that had been we talked about a little bit before, was if the mayor would have a city phone or not. So I'm not too concerned about that. The hotspot would be a thing that we would have to provide for the fire station, which T-Mobile does provide hotspots.
Is that, like, we're asking to replace the hotspot also?
I was unaware of the hotspot when I got the quote, so, but I knew I get, cause I have T-Mobile myself, so I know that I think it's like $30 a month for the hotspot. But if they got a phone, they can use the phone as a hotspot, so I think the only difference is you just have a little box versus an actual cell phone. And you can use as a hotspot.
Yeah, the hotspot's a little more different, but yeah, the same thing.
Right, essentially, but I mean, you could use the phone as a hotspot, but
Yeah.
yeah, and that's something if the council wants, I can get more information on the hotspot and we can revisit it in December. Just something that I wanted to bring to the attention every time I try to get a hold of them or Joe tries to get a hold of somebody, it's,
No, I finally switched from Inland. I debated Verizon or T-Mobile. Because one person will say Verizon's great, someone else will say no, same thing with T-Mobile, so it was like a shot in the dark. I went with Verizon. They also have the text satellite. But I think either one, getting away from Inland, unfortunately,
Inland used to be the best.
yeah.
Yeah, the city was, we got rid of Inland several years ago because we've gone a crime scene, couldn't even text each other across the street, like it was really bad. And nobody knew how we even started with them, like it was just, they were local.
Mhm.
And they were with Verizon, the city slowly going to T-Mobile because they were cheaper. I was gonna switch my personal. But when I went to T-Mobile, I will throw this out because I'm not against using T-Mobile, but they'll flat out tell you, they have great coverage here in Juliet. It is fantastic, nothing in Kendrick.
It does go
So
to
getting there.
LTE and
Yeah.
Kent.
They said they do have it, and of course, not that they go lack of it, like, nothing really works out there, but they said, none of that, but then they're like, but we have Starlink, so if you're in Kendrick, you need to send a text, and I get, but, I know we were getting, or the city getting a heck of a deal for T-Mobile, because we have both Verizon and T-Mobile at the city, depending on what you have, so I think yeah.
And like I said, if,
These are guys you gotta be able to talk to people.
Yeah.
Regardless of the price, Verizon is more than Inland. Like
Yes.
regardless of what any quote, it
Mhm.
never, it's like buying a car, it's always more than what the quote is, but the service is been
Yeah.
reliable.
I had AT&T was when I worked for Clearwater Paper was AT&T, and then when we went to Sofidel, they switched to Verizon. And AT&T worked great, but they're not a corporate store. Like you have to do all the stuff online. You can get them from Costco, and they weren't too much more. Like I said, $40 or $50 more than T-Mobile. That's another, like I said, if you want actual quotes, like I said, I forgot if I can bring those for next meeting, and I can check on the hotspot, but we just definitely need to consider getting away from inland because they're just going down. And I imagine just the kind of rumors that I've heard, I feel like they're wanting out of the cell phone business and wanting to focus more on their emerged technologies. So,
Hopefully it's better than that service. The only thing I would say is whatever, if you go T-Mobile or whoever, is just in case it doesn't work, because like everybody oversells their coverage. And, what if it doesn't work and you're not happy with the service? Can you get out of contract? Verizon, there's a restock fee, so.
that's something
similar.
that I didn't ask just because I use T-Mobile, and like Jeff said, there is, when you go to Kendrick, you're actually on an inland cellular tower. That's why it drops to LTE, and it's kind of not the greatest. And then by the casino and a few other spots here and there, it's kind of hit miss. I know people that have Verizon, kind of the same. Yeah.
I have T-Mobile and Chase has Verizon. And we seem to I get coverage all over Julietta. I experienced the same thing when going to Kendrick. Drops me down, and then the casino's just a dead zone. But
Mhm.
the coverage does seem to be getting better. I don't know what they're doing with towers or something, but I know all over town here, T-Mobile works great.
Yeah.
Joe, do you know about up on the hill where you are? No.
Yeah, my son runs off the internet, so I don't know for sure.
Gotcha.
Well, I'd give you my phone if you promise to bring it back.
Yeah, couple
First
of
thing.
dollars.
Can you catch him?
Can I make a motion then to, I think you just
Yeah.
find
I
out what
think so.
I don't know if we wanna, I would say we could just switch to T-Mobile, but I also get that, I know, like with the cameras up, we usually don't like to buy stuff without an actual hard number, so the motion would be to get the information for T-Mobile of what it would cost for however many phones, and if we wanna look at the phone versus hotspot, 'cause it wouldn't hurt to have a phone down, I imagine, at the fire station, then
Or your
turn on
hotspots
the
actually work a little
hotspot.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah, whatever, I mean, I would defer to you guys what you want there, but, and get a cost for
Yeah.
that pretty similar, I think that'd be a great idea, but I think we need to switch no matter what.
okay,
That would be my motion.
do I have a second?
That was a lot.
Okay, it was moved and seconded, all in favor? Motion passes. Okay, so, the internet never actually got approved with that back in that, September? Yeah, so we just need to actually approve the internet service and provider for the water plant. The cameras are in, they're in here, they're in down there, they are functioning, but the internet allows us Justin to see them from wherever, so. And TDS is what we would talk about, cause it was lowest, yeah.
Right.
I might.
I don't remember any, thing.
Yeah, it
Seems like
was,
Maybe you have it,
yeah,
but I don't know, we all do.
it was, yeah, like $50 a month versus $150 through Spectrum.
But we can have.
I'm dying. It
Sorry, get you
sucks.
sick.
It sucks. No, I
Don't get
think,
me sick again.
my daughter did, I think.
Oh, no. Oh, the school.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn early so Mark can go home and get
Better make that motion.
that.
This one's nasty.
Did I give
They had
that to
something
you?
that was $49.99 for
Yep.
fiber to the plant, right?
Yep,
That's how.
yep, and that was
Okay.
TDS.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I have for number 10 last time. And I see some TDS was $359.79 versus Spectrum was $420. So I think TDS was, best plan.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to approve the internet service, for TDS at the water plant.
do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we moved and seconded, all in favor? Okay. Motion passes. So Justin, if you want to, put in the request, and then Bob told me, not Bob, but Brett? Brett. Brett told me to tell TDS, so tell Bob that we have our own, thank you. Yep.
Oh, yeah, Brett did ask if we could coordinate
Yeah,
when the internet guy comes to set things up.
With Brett.
If
With
Brett
Brett.
could either be on the phone or even come out here, because it just makes it easier.
yeah, I imagine that, Robert will be more than likely be our installer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cleanup.
Third time's a charm. Okay, so, as we already discussed, having the city sponsor the event, doubly so since I want to be on the council. I don't want any, misconstrued intent or anything. So, if I coordinate a letter to go out January or February, city can mail it.
Yeah, I think that sounds great. And I can put it on
Sponsor.
utility bills the
Mhm.
months leading up. Yeah. I'm sure there's funds in the budget.
Yeah, I think it,
Printing.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so, do we have a motion for the city to sponsor the April cleanup day?
I motion to sponsor the April cleanup day.
Do I have a second? Okay, all in favor? Okay, motion passes. Oh, we're just blowing through the meeting tonight. All right, Justin, keep us on the go.
Okay, so I gave everyone the site plan for drain Hadley. He did not get this to us in time to get on the agenda tonight. But it shows that he wants to do a small addition onto the back of his house And his house is already built.
I must
too
accidentally
close to
pass
the
it to you.
property line. So he'll need a variance to do that. I did mention it to Cynthia. We talked about it. He'll have to do a public hearing, which we'll do at the next city council meeting. He'll have to send out letters to his neighbors, asking them if there's any objections. And then at the next meeting, the city council can vote on whether they'll allow it or not allow it. But, there really isn't any more to it for planning and zoning. I mean, it's just it's basically either yes, you can build on your, that close to your property line, or no, you can't. There's no other consideration with how much space it will take up, because he has 3 lots all combined into one lot, so it's not gonna take up more than 30% of his lots anyway, so I think he's fine there, so. Anyway, he'll be here in December. The sewer plant is absolutely going crazy with construction. They've hauled in all of the concrete components. They're gonna tear down the plant, this week possibly, to start digging the lift station. Joe and I are, MacGyvering a sludge drying, that's today. We rented a heater, an industrial heater, and covered the sludge beds with a tarp. And it lifted up like a hot air balloon. And it's drying, so if this works, we can keep wasting, even though we don't have our bags from the engineer or the construction company yet. Cause I need to keep wasting sludge or we'll have an overflow, so. Anyway, that's going on down there. I just want to remind everyone again that the Christmas lights were ordered for Main Street. They will not be shipped until after Thanksgiving. I did not know that at the time of ordering them, or I might have ordered from a different company. But we did order a bunch more for Main Street. And I mentioned the chlorine situation is not an emergency now, that we can still get gas through our normal supplier. Oxark has decided to continue supplying it for now. And then I was gonna mention the cameras. There's a camera outside this door that points down. There's a camera on the sidewalk that points to the front door on the street. There's a camera in the back that points towards the dump truck and the tractor. To keep an eye on those things for people, vandalizing things.
There's 2 cameras back there.
And there's 2 actually back there.
And I was gonna ask, like, have you seen what we're getting off of this one? Is it pointing just, or does it point down that kind of dark little
I
corridor?
haven't seen the city hall ones yet, because when they were installing them, their piece of equipment didn't work and they were going back and forth to get a new one. The ones at the water plant are very high resolution, very good, amazing.
Yeah, I was just more, and maybe we can look at it tomorrow when
I
I'm
have
here.
it pulled up so I can show you after.
Okay.
But and I asked him about that. It does kind of just point down in that little area. And he said there's really not much wiggle room with repositioning it, just because it's kind of boxed in by buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, so he said it's kind of a tough spot to put one.
So at least it's getting the door.
Yeah, it gets the door good here, but then you get every angles from the other cameras. If anybody comes in the front or anybody comes in
Yep.
from the
You
back,
can kind of
you
piece
still
it
get
together.
that. You get the other cameras, so.
Okay.
Yeah. Joe and I went over to the library Friday, and he drained the water heater and we crawled under there. The pipes are insulated and zip tied, which was great. I did buy a heater one day, like a radiator type heater, and put it in the back room. And shut the doors, and so that will keep that back room. That's the only place where the plumbing is in the back.
Okay.
So it's fairly weatherized for the winter. We'll check on it a few times to make sure that nothing else happens with it. And then I think that's all I really wanted to talk about. Joe and I are working off an Excel work list now. Nick has started us on the computer. So I have a laptop. I picked up a laptop Monday. Joe has a laptop. We're all sharing our calendars. So Cheyenne and I and Joe all have a combined calendar now that we're working off of. So it's really pretty cool. So we're already scheduled all the way out into January for stuff that we're doing and projects that we're working on. So
Kind of helps them know what their task for the day and how things like. We use it at the mill, so I thought it would be a good
yeah, and I'm
thing
filling
to
it
try
in
here.
backwards too. So if we do something, if it gets changed, then I'm fixing it so that we also have a record of what we're doing and how many hours we spent doing it. So
Anything else?
nope.
Jeff?
Just, I know I brought it last time, but I really hope they'll use that online bill pay. It would have been so.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
I finally got smart, did the paperless too.
Yeah, it took me a few
Yeah,
tries. I got
but
two.
it's
Yeah.
super easy. So, I mean, it's literally, I think I just scan I love having it on the card. So I still anybody, I think everybody here probably heard the pitch on that. But, and then, I don't know if I brought this up last time, but I heard from ISP, they said they were still working with ITD on the cars on the highway, but I have,
No.
I have some follow up on that.
okay, little an ITD right now, but that's okay. That's what I got.
All right, so Pumpkin Lane on Halloween was a success. They had a good turnout. Of course, with any first year project, you realize like, oh, we need to do that different. Did get quite dark on that street, which I wasn't quite aware of. So it was like I had my flashlight out on my phone, like, come here, kids, come here, children.
It's like,
Right. That's scary. But it was good. They, of course, want to encourage more participation next year. Maybe we'll get more citizens to come down and do like a trunk or treat also. So that was good. Of course, after our candidate forum and talking about how we can better support our businesses, I wanted to give a shout out to Christine Proquet from the Blackberry. Specifically, I met with her to discuss like her charity bingo that they have organized. So over the course of two years, because they do bingo twice a month, they've raised over $20,000 for 16 or more organizations between Kendrick and Juliaetta. They did include Deary, I think, Fire Department. And so, not the ambulance, I think it was Deary Fire Department. Of course, she's done the farmer's market from June to September, twice a month, 8 to 13 vendors. Was a good turnout, she said. She's starting her small business Saturday, I think starting this Saturday or next Saturday.
I think it's next Saturday.
Right. She also does citizens bring in like food cook-off once a month. Just a different people bring in like a little food contest, win prizes, and she does special monthly dinners with like visiting chefs or people who want to display like their food. So just really, I told her, you know, I think she's a asset to our town, and I really wish she was in town to volunteer with the council. But yeah, just that. And I wanted to congratulate our clerk on her recent engagement. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Okay. I got a couple things. First of all, I know I'm a month early, but I still want to thank the council who's been here, you know, Mark, Amanda, Jeff, you know, you two were appointed for stepping up to help. You've served 8 years with me?
4.
No, only 4?
Mhm.
Why does it feel like 8? But I do want to thank you guys for your service to the town. It's, you know, it's a thankless job, as we all know. So I do appreciate everybody's willingness to step up and help. I do also want to thank the new council members and let you know that there is some AIC training that Cheyenne and I have been working on. They usually do a fall conference for new council members. We haven't got a date yet, but if we do, we'll share it with you. The city usually just pays that for you guys to go, but there is some online training and stuff with AIC. If you need some login stuff, I'm sure Cheyenne can get that to you. Okay. Also wanted to update on the ordinance procedure. I've been in contact with the sheriff's department, with Sheriff Skiles, and with his staff sergeant. So Todd has approved their process, which is citizens come to the city, we have a form that they fill out, and then Cheyenne and I, because I'm responsible for enforcing the ordinances, making sure that they're actually breaking the ordinances. We fill out the form, we send them a letter. It's a letter that requires a receipt for when they get it. And then the clock starts ticking, and it's 30 days.
Depending on what.
Depending on which ordinance, yep. So then if they do not make any changes, then the sheriff comes down. He issues them a ticket off their ticket book. They just write City of Juliet at the top, and then Todd will prosecute. If for some reason they do not, sign for the letter, they have 10 days after we've sent it out, and then we contact the sheriff's department. Sheriff's department will hand deliver that letter to them. So I know the ordinance has been a very big topic, and we've been working on it for, well, several years, but we do actually have a procedure. We have the forms to track it so that we can start tracking that the ordinances are being enforced, they are being prosecuted, and if need be, and following through with those. So long time coming, but there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Can you post the procedure on the website?
Yes. Yep, we will do that. And also the traffic study, I did just hear from ITD. So with the cars on Main Street, ITD says that it's our responsibility because it's in town, so they're stepping back. But so that's where the sheriff's department will take over, which we sent that particular residence a letter already. So we're on top of that one, and it will cover the front side, the back, the whole thing.
So the sheriff's department will take over if they don't comply.
Yes. Yep. The traffic study, I did reach back out because they were supposed to do it a couple weeks ago. There was some delays, but they're supposed to be getting a hold of us this week to set up. I think they were thinking, what he told me was around the second week of December, because we want to catch it before school gets out for the holidays. So should be hopefully around the second week of December. They're supposed to be emailing me this week to get that taken care of, get a date picked. And then I did want to remind small businesses that I am asking them to be here in December to see more things that we can do to help them out. Also, I did want to kind of talk about, normally the city sponsors the Light the Park event. Miranda and I kind of started that several years ago. And then thank the JCIA for stepping up last year and helping with get the lights up. With the crazy year that the city's had, me learning my new role and everything, the year kind of slipped away from us. So the city is not able to do a lighting ceremony, or we're going to put our snowmen up down there. But there has been another resident, former Mayor Grosclose, has been putting lights up there, and I've heard that he's planning on doing some kind of lighting ceremony. So I'm not for sure the date, but unfortunately we were unable to do that this year. But I've been working with the city of Kendrick, and I actually did talk to Christine just before this meeting. We're planning something very big and just a grand light the thing next year, and just kind of, see if we can get some community involvement and just kind of bring our community together. Because I know that the lighting of the park has always been a big thing, and we want to get back to that, and we want to make sure that we just do some big thing. Kendrick has talked about trying to coordinate time so we can support Kendrick, they can support us, do some things like a winter carnival down there kind of thing. So like I said, I do apologize that we just couldn't make it happen this year, especially with our lights being a little delayed. But there is going to be some lights in the park, and we will be making sure that we get something big and grand next year. I think that's all I got. Mark?
I won't be here next month, my last meeting, except I'll be on the phone if you need me, Mayor. It's been an honor serving with you, man, under you. So that's all I got.
Been working on the ordinance enforcement letters. I talked about last month how 2 letters had gone out. There's one that's currently, it had been received by the resident, so that 30-day clock has started. So I will be tracking that. I have a few more letters that I will be going over with Mayor Anderson tomorrow on our staff meeting. More so, junk and trash related. And then, after that, I think the plan is to tackle unregistered vehicles, campers, boats, things like that, that are on public right of ways that should be. But I've been having to revamp the letters a little bit and basically create like new boiler templates, so delayed me a little bit, but once those templates are made, it should be smooth sailing, so making good progress on that. And I think there's something else. There. Can't remember.
Did you wanna,
Do you remember?
update them about Cassell?
Oh, yes, thank you. So, Cassell has been working on cleaning up the books for the last couple months. I heard back from the CPA who's been doing that, and she said she is just about finished. And so she wants to schedule a telephone conference with me to just go over everything and get it tidied up. And then I also was in contact with Bakery Paid Ross early last week, and they are finishing up their busy season. So she's kind of retouched base with me about our audit and things that she's needing.
Did they send a letter for 2026's
I
audit?
have
Yes.
not received an engagement letter yet.
Okay, yeah, if you talk to her again, you want to make sure that we get that for 26 so we can get, because I know for those of you coming in, January and February are going to be an extremely crazy, lots of information thrown at you. We are unfortunately a year behind on our audit due to just craziness that's been going on for the last 2 years. So in January, we will be going over 2024. February, we will be going over 2025. And then by January of 27, we should be back on track with 26. So we'll have back-to-back audit months if everything works out correctly. Okay.
I will touch base with her about that. And I think that's all.
Joe,
I don't have anything.
anything from the fire department?
No.
Okay. Public comment. Anybody have any public comment? Okay. Close public comment. Ready for adjournment?
Yes, sir.
You want to move it?
I move to adjourn.
All in favor? Okay, motion passes. 7:48. Yeah.